Should I have an intro to these videos like David Stewart? Every video David Stewart opens with, "Hey folks, David Stewart here," and then he goes into his thing. I don't know. I feel like most people don't do that. Most people don't have an intro. They might have an outro, but the intro, I don't know. I have an outro. Maybe I shouldn't have either. Maybe it's too stifling. It's it's like a straitjacket. You feel like, oh, why am I so nervous? Oh, it's like I want to start this off like, okay, we made it. Day 10. We made it to day 10, everybody. That'd be a good thumbnail, right? Day 10. Um, but I'm fucking depressed. I'm 10 days off cigarettes, cold turkey. And I'm so depressed. I really thought after like day 4 or 5, I'd be good because I've quit cigarettes before. I've quit cigarettes several times. And it's always that first 3 to 5 days. And then after that, yeah, you still deal with it, but it's it recedes dramatically. But for me now, it just seems to almost be getting worse. But I know that I'm like a few days away from getting over that hump. I'm so pent up right now. It's fucking horrible. And it's life. I think the reason this is so difficult is because of the life right now. Everything all at once. I'm working this job I hate, and they have me working all kinds of like erratic. Like I'm working 6 days in a row, coming up, and then I have one day off, and then I work like 4 days in a row. So it's like you have like no time off, even though it still averages out. It still works out to 2 days off every 5 days. But because the schedule each week is different, it can block together where you're working like 10 days in a row, even though it's technically every 5 day period or every 7 day period, rather. You have 2 days off. Because the schedule rotates constantly, you can work 10 days in a row. So that is just sapping my energy and my positivity working this job, again, for minimum wage. The job itself isn't that bad, honestly. It's physically stressful for sure. But there's also a positive to that where I am getting physical activity. I'm getting more sunlight than I usually do. So I mean, it's the job itself isn't all bad. It's just that it pays so fucking terribly for all the hours you work. You really don't have anything to show for it. And then maybe this is a psychological thing on my part, but just the whole vibe of working at this place just brings me down. And again, that's probably like ego related, but it is what it is. Whether it's ego or whatever, it is the case that it's psychologically kind of spiritually draining in addition to being physically taxing. And it doesn't pay shit. So like you don't even have that to like lift your spirits up. So it's just draining on like all fronts. This job specifically. And again, there's parts of it that I like, really. There's parts of the job that I like, but just overall the long 6 day stretches without a day off, having like one day off in between blocks of like 3 to 5 days. I fucking hate that, man. I want a weekend. I want 2 days off every 5 days. You know? Every 5 days, 2 days off. And it got me thinking, I was thinking about that, like weekends and all that, 5 days, 2 days, 5 days on, 2 days off. how much better would life be if the culture we had was 4 days off, 4 days on, 3 days off, and you had Wednesdays off. So you worked Monday, to, like the typical office job. And I'm sure a lot of office jobs are, kind of doing this now, especially the higher you climb the ladder. You can afford to take an extra day. But like, imagine if just the standard work culture for this country was Monday, Tuesday on, Wednesday off, Thursday, Friday on, Saturday, Sunday off. Do you know how incredibly beneficial that would be to everyone's mental if they just had Wednesdays off in addition to the Saturdays and Sundays? It's one day, but it's right in the middle of the week, right? You never have to go more than 2 days without a day off, before you get a day off. It's right in the middle of the work week. That hump day, you get it to yourself to kind of just chill and recharge. And then you go back on Thursday and it's like, oh, we just had a day off. I'm good. Thursday's nice. I just came from home after a day off. And then Friday's as awesome as it's ever been because now you got the 2-day weekend coming up. But you're less drained on Friday because you had that Wednesday. It would just be like, it's one day, right? One extra day a week. But I think it would just totally transform the culture of this country where everyone would be so much happier. And to be fair, like people like me work in retail and stuff and poor people who got to work like 2-3 jobs just to pay the bills. They don't have the luxury of this. But I'm just thinking about like your typical 9-to-5 office job. If that moved to like a 4-day week where you had Wednesday off in the middle, it would be so much different. And I understand it would hurt productivity in some ways, but it might help boost it in others, But the taxing, mentally taxing, draining part of work would be so much less with just that one extra day off in the middle. I don't know. This is a rant. This is a ramble. I was thinking about the fact that I don't have consistent weekends anymore, and it just kind of got me thinking about the weekend system, Monday through Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. And I was thinking like, man, if we just had that Wednesday off in addition to Saturday and Sunday, things would be so much different. Life would be so much better for everybody. At least everybody working a regular 9-to-5. So the job that I work, because I don't have like consistent weekends and I can go long periods without days off, and then I have like one day off and then I go another like 3 days. It's like, I think my schedule right now is 6 days on, 1 day off, like 3 days on, 1 day off. It's like that kind of thing. And it's like, I fucking hate that. And it's really bringing me down psychologically and energetically. And then in addition to that, this job interview I got coming. Oh, by the way, I got a haircut and shaved and all that. I didn't even mention that. This job interview I got coming up in a couple of days is stressing me the fuck out. I've never really done a real job interview before. I've worked, but I had this last job for over a decade. Before that, I worked, menial jobs like I'm working now, which don't really have interviews. So I've never really done an interview. And I'm sure as a lot of who do interviews, they're stressful as fuck. And and for me, it's even worse because I've never done one. So like, I don't even know what to expect. And, a big part of me doesn't even think I'm going to get the job. I really hope I do. But like a big part of me doesn't expect to get it. And I know that's me being negative and all that, but it just is what it is. So that's stressing me the fuck out. And then we've got to move. I've lived in this house for 14 years. I've lived in this house longer than I've ever lived anywhere else in my life. Basically, my entire 20s I've lived here, half my 30s. And now we have to move. And we have an apartment that we've been pre-approved for. That doesn't mean we're going to get it. It's very similar to the job. And we're actually going to look at the apartment the very next day after the interview. So it's like both of these things are coming up now. I've got the job interview that I'm not optimistic about. And then I've got this apartment that we're going to look at that, yeah, if we got the apartment, I would feel a big sense of relief because that's done with, And it's actually a nice looking apartment. I mean, the outside looks really nice. It's in a decent area of the city. Not in the ghetto. It's in actually kind of a nice area. The house itself looks kind of nice. It looks like very like Victorian. It kind of looks like it's from a fucking Edgar Allan Poe novel or something. It's kind of cool actually. I'd show it to you if I would never show it to you because I don't want to like dox my house, but I wish I could show it to you because it looks kind of cool. It literally looks like it's from an Edgar Allan Poe. Did I say movie? Poem or book or whatever. I think I said movie just then, didn't I? It's because I was thinking of Stephen King before I said his name. But yeah, it's like it's super New England. It looks like Halloween all year round at this place. That's what it looks like. It's like purple and black, like it's crazy, and it's super old school. And I think there's like 8 apartments in it or something. So if we got the apartment, other than the fact that we now have to fucking pay rent, it would be good just to have a place to live for a year that we wouldn't have to worry about. Breathe a little easier on that front. The rent, at least so far, is reasonable. Hot water and heating is included in the rent, which is nice, very nice. So we got pre-approved for that, or pre-qualified, whatever the fuck, for this apartment, and we're going to check it out on Thursday. But we don't know if we'll get it because after we look at it and decide if we're going to move forward, then they do the background check. That's when they're going to see the credit scores, and they might reject us on that. We already told them our credit score range, but that's not the same thing as looking at the background check or whatever. So we might not get that. So I've got this interview coming up that I don't think I'm going to get, but I really want to get. While at the same time, I don't want to get because the job that I'd be doing, even though it pays a lot better and it's a way better job, it'd be less physically stressful, but it would be more psycho-emotionally stressful because the job I have now, pushing carts, is mentally very chill, right? Other than being brought down by the kind of vibe of working retail, it's very simple, easy work. This job, you're going to be on deadlines, you're going to be working with other people constantly. It's dealing with numbers and stuff like that. So it's a lot scarier. It's scary, and it's a level above what I was doing before. So even if I did get it, I'd love to get it. It would pay more than I was making before at the other mortgage company. But it's also kind of scary because it's a little bit more serious of a job. Expectations to perform. The job I have now, it's very very laid back. You're just fucking pushing carts all day. Anyone can do it. It's very chill. So it's like I want to get it, but I don't want to get it. I need to get it, but I'm probably not going to get it. And I'd kind of be relieved if I didn't get it, but also devastated if I didn't get it. So it's all these conflicting emotions. And then the apartment, kind of the same thing. We need to get the apartment. I'd love to get the apartment, but at the same time, I don't want to leave this place. And at the same time, I don't want to pay fucking rent. And I understand all this stuff is normal adult stuff, but I've lived here for fucking 14 years. We haven't had to pay rent here. Just taxes, right? So it's like all these like conflicting emotions back and forth. Working a shitty job. The prospect of a better but potentially more stressful job in some ways. Prospect of getting a new apartment and leaving this house that I've lived in this beautiful area for over a decade. And then on top of all of that, I've quit smoking cold turkey in the last 10 days. And all of this has just come together to make me really depressed. And if anyone's been watching my live streams lately, I'm very sorry. Because I've been such a fucking bitch for so many days now. Really since like day 3. I feel like it was day 3 of quitting. That first Serious Sam stream on day 3. I don't think it was the first Serious Sam stream, but you know what I'm saying. That was when it started. When I was going through the intense physical withdrawals. And then ever since then, all of my streams, I've just been angry, hostile, negative, and depressed. And I feel bad for the people watching them. I feel like I've just been a Debbie Downer asshole. And that's not what you come to a fucking stream for, you know? You come to a stream to be entertained. And I'm just being like, maybe I'm overblowing it. Maybe it's not as bad as I thought, but as I think, but it's definitely worse than I'd like it to be. But we made it to day 10. Today was really hard. I thought about relapsing. Like, today was one of the hardest days. Weirdly enough, you'd think, oh, we're 10 days in, it's got to be easy. No, man, this is probably the hardest day, maybe with the exception of day 3. Day 3, I think, was still the hardest because that was when the physical was at its peak. The physical's completely gone now. It's just psycho-emotional. And now because the interview is getting closer and closer, and the apartment thing is getting closer and closer, the stress is just super high. So, and then also the streaming thing. I've been streaming too much, arguably too much, and I'm getting burnt out from it. And because I'm, again, like I said before, I'm not behaving the way I'd like to behave on stream. I'm negative. That is another layer of depression, and all on top of it. So today, you know, because I kind of saw, thank God it's almost 11 o'clock. The convenience store closes in like 15 minutes. So as long as I can make it to 11, I'm not going to buy cigarettes today. There technically is a 24-hour place, but it's a little farther. Because like I was just looking at the clock thinking I could go get cigarettes right now, right? Like I'm just so fucking stressed and depressed. And then that's the other thing. So the streaming performances are just gloomy, right? But then also these videos. It's another thing. These videos are gloomy and like anxiety ridden and I just feel bad about that. I want to be funny. I want to be entertaining. I don't want to be whining and bitching and vetching, you know, and just like, that's cringe, right? I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that guy. So then I think about putting these videos out every day, and it's like, most of them are just that. They're just me being like, oh, this sucks. I hate this. Fuck. So then I feel bad about putting that out there, right? I feel bad about how that's making people feel or even perceive me, you know, how it makes me look bad to people. So then that's another layer of depression on top of it all. So then today I was just dark, very dark. And I considered relapsing a lot. Oh, and on top of that, I didn't get any sleep last night because I'm a fucking idiot. I had to get my hair cut this morning, so I had to be up a little earlier than normal, and I didn't go to bed early enough last night. In my defense, it's kind of hard to just on a dime go to bed at a completely different time when you're working nights every night. But I had a couple of days that I could have used to prepare, and I didn't. So I got like very little sleep. So I ended up taking like an hour and a half, 2-hour nap this evening, which always feels bad. You know, you're sleeping at like 6 p.m. for a couple of hours. It just feels degenerate. It just, you know what I mean? It just feels like, why? Like, ugh. It just feels like, you know, you're wasting your day and all that stuff. So all of this stuff, the sleep deprivation, the job, the interview, the apartment, the content creation and streaming, it's all just bad. It's all just bad. And I'm 10 days in, 9 days in to cold turkey quitting smoking. So it's so hard. It's so fucking hard, man, to keep on this path. And definitely, if I didn't make these videos, I would not have made it this far. I've come this close to giving up, even with these videos. So if I didn't have these videos, there's no way I would have made it past like day 5. There's no fucking way. And then these videos as well are another level of stress, right? Because I have to make them every night. Thank God that's over. Thank fucking God this is over. This is the last of these stupid things I have to make. And not even because now I want to relapse or something, just because it's like having to make these videos every day sucked. It really did. I've already explained it in the past. It's just, I hate it. I hate it. It's not the way I want to do content. So the fact that I've made it to day 10, I'm glad I've done that. I'm glad I've seen at least the first 10 days through. I did what I said I was going to do. I made a video every day. It helped me. You guys helped me. I appreciate your comments. A lot of you guys are like super positive and supportive, and I really appreciate it. And you've helped me a lot. And I hope I've helped some of you guys. I know some of you have said so in the comments, and that feels great to know that I'm helping some people make better decisions about their lives and what they're doing. But then again, there's that pressure, the pressure to not give in for you guys, right? Which is more stress. And my mom was just telling me about this story she heard about this guy who was involved in some kind of industrial accident. And he ended up having to get his entire lower body removed from the pelvis down, right? So he has no genitals, just from like so he's like a stomach, right? And then a tube coming out of it where his waist comes out, so, you know. And she was saying how he's so positive about life, and you know, he's an upbeat, happy guy. And you hear these stories a lot, right? These kinds of things where you hear, oh, this guy had a horrible accident, this guy lost his kid, this guy, this. But they still maintain a positive outlook and disposition, right? And it's intended to kind of give you perspective, right, about gratitude and how it could be so much worse, and you need to count your blessings because you have many of them, right? You're in a lot better of a position than you think, right? When you're mired in your own life and you don't have that perspective of another life that could be so much worse on paper, but they're still able to be positive. You know, it's like, what right do you have to be miserable? And that's intended to give you perspective so that you can be grateful, so that you can uplift your mood and disposition. But for me, it does the exact opposite. It's like, yeah, that guy doesn't have a penis anymore, and he's happy, and I'm sitting here on paper in a way better position than he is, and I'm fucking miserable. So what does that say about me? Like, what's wrong with me that I can't appreciate the things I have and I'm just miserable all the time? That just makes me feel even worse. It's like I'm a ungrateful, entitled bitch. Whereas this guy over here has every reason in the world to be suicidal and miserable and depressed and angry, and he's not, but I have none of the problems he does, but I'm all those things, you know? And that just makes you feel worse, because now you feel like someone who's ungrateful, entitled, and immature, and then also on another level broken. Like, it's like, well, clearly there's something wrong with me if I'm still so miserable despite having the world, you know, compared to some people. Then maybe it's impossible for me to be happy, right? And then that makes you feel like, you know, oh, that's a depressing thought to think I could never be happy because I'm just fundamentally broken, right? I just think that's kind of ironic and kind of funny in a sick, dark way, where these things that are intended to make you feel better about your situation just make you feel worse. It's like, I can't help it. I'm just negative, right? I just use the negativity just... I think it's kind of funny. Like, I feel like that could be a bit. That could be a stand-up bit if you wrote that properly, right? It's ironic. But I still have not relapsed. We're 10 days in almost. I'm doing this one a little earlier than usual because I'm probably not going to be awake as late as usual tonight because I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. But we're basically 10 days in. It's like 9 days and 22 hours, so we're close. Convenience store closes in 10 minutes. I got work tomorrow. I start a 6-day stretch. No day off. The day after tomorrow, I have the interview. The day after that, we look at the apartment. I can't wait for this interview to be over, man. I just, win, lose, or draw, I just want it to be behind me. I just, again, kind of like these 10-day video things, 10 days of videos. I just want this to be behind me. It'll just be one more stress off my head. Maybe I get the job. If I get the job, that would be great. But even if I don't, I've said it before, I'll at least have gotten a little bit of experience interviewing, which is good to have, and it'll just be behind me. I can just move forward and, okay, I'm still working this shitty job, but, it's a job. It's better than nothing. There are positives to the job itself, and I'll just keep looking and try to find another one. And hopefully the next interview will be easier because I've already had this interview behind me, so I just want to get it over with, right? Similar with this apartment, I just want to know whether or not we're moving. And then if we are moving, that's a whole other thing. Then we got to start moving. We got to start packing and loading up heavy shit and schlepping it across town. And all of this going on while I'm 10 days into no smoking, man. It is brutal. It is brutal. Part of me wishes I didn't do this. Part of me wishes I had waited. The problem was the streaming. Because I couldn't stream without chain smoking. I love streaming. I really do. I love it. I love it way more than this. It's fun. You just play video games and talk to people. Crack jokes occasionally. It's fun. But I don't like chain smoking while I'm streaming. For various reasons. The kind of moral element of being a bad influence, but also it's embarrassing. Because your neurosis is just on display. You're just constantly, compulsively sucking at the teat. I shouldn't do that. That just triggered the shit out of me. Holy crap! Don't make that movement. So it's just embarrassing, right? In addition to the moral element, and it's just gross. It's just gross. So like, I really wanted to quit so that I could stream without smoking. Not have to worry about that. Also, the physical, obviously there's a million other reasons why you quit, but the kind of acute motivator was, it was making my streams worse for me. But now that I've quit, the streams are shit too, because I'm just gloomy Gus the whole time, yelling at chatters. Some of it I think is kind of funny. Like I'm kind of hamming it up a little bit for entertainment purposes. But it is just a generally negative vibe, and I hate that too. I don't want that to be the case. So I'm just like, part of me is regretting the decision to quit now because of all the stuff that's going on. Part of me knows that it had to happen eventually anyway, and the sooner you get it out of the way, the better. And there are positives to this for sure. If I hadn't quit, I would be $150 poorer right now with cigarette costs. I'd have way more like chest pains and stuff, and my physically, like, I don't feel that different. I guess my breathing is better. It's not as labored and wheezy as it was. I'm not coughing as much. The chest pains aren't really there, which is nice. Energy level wise, I don't feel that different, honestly. So there are some benefits, but it's very subtle. It's very early. It's only been 10 days. It's not that long. But it's been hell. It's been hell. The whole time, pretty much. Since day 3. Day 1 and 2 were easy. Day 1 and 2 were nothing. Day 3 through 10 were fucking hell. It went up and down. Some days were easier than others, but today was one of the worst. Might have been the second hardest day. Day 3 was the hardest. I think 10 might be the second hardest. And again, I don't know if that's the cigarettes or life. Like, if life was going good right now and I had housing secure and I didn't have to worry about my income and I had a good job, would today have been the second hardest day? I don't know. Probably not. It might be related to the life stress stuff. The apartment takes the pets, by the way. If we get this apartment, we don't have to get rid of the animals. That is a huge thing. Imagine if I had to get rid of my fucking dog right now through all this shit. I couldn't. I'd start smoking. If I have to fucking get rid of my dog, I'm smoking. I'm just gonna say it right straight up. Like, there's no fucking way I could handle that. So, luckily, this apartment takes animals. I really hope we get it. Now that I thought about that, I really hope we get this apartment, because I couldn't take it, man. I could not take it. So, life is tough right now. But I know if I stick with it, it can get better. I've made it 10 days with no cigarettes. We'll see how, like I said, am I going to do like a weekly check-in maybe to kind of let you know that I haven't relapsed maybe. I don't know how long. Maybe I'll do that for a month or two. It'll at least give me something to talk about. It'll at least give me like a reason to post a video every week if I don't have like another topic to talk about. And it would be a lot less stressful than the everyday thing. But it can't be on a particular day. It has to be just like a once a week check-in, because if it's on a particular, if it has to be every Monday, that's when I hate it, because then no matter what I'm doing that day, no matter how fucked up my life is, no matter how my work schedule is, I have to get it done that day. And then I just hate that shit. So I'll try to do, kind of like I was doing before I did this series, where it would kind of tend to fall on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, usually, depending on when I was working. It might fall a day or two earlier or later. I'll try to do it like that. And I'll just kind of let you know. We'll start the video with, I haven't relapsed yet, or I have relapsed, whatever. Just so you know where I'm at, what I'm doing. If I do relapse, I'm not saying I'm going to, guys. There's tons of commenters that are like, he's going to relapse. Look, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't. I'm not one of these people that says like, just believe that you're not going to smoke anymore. That's not how I work. Okay. Every day is a new day. Every day is a reapplication of discipline and self-control. I can't just flip a fucking switch like a robot and be like, I no longer smoke. That's not how it works. Every day is a struggle. Every day you're pushing that fucking boulder up the hill. Okay? So I don't know what the future holds. If I relapse, if I might not, doubters, doubting Thomases, I might not. But if I do, that doesn't mean that the journey's over. It just means that there was a bump in the road, right? Is this me already making excuses for relapse? Maybe it is. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I don't know what the future holds. I don't know what my life is going to be like. I don't know what my job situation, my housing situation, my pet situation, like, I don't know what the future holds. So, like, I can't promise anyone anything. All I can promise is that I'll do my best. And then if I stumble, I'm not going to stay down. I'll get back up. And that's the way you should look at it yourself too. Like, if you fuck up in a certain way, don't use that as an excuse to just stay there. Like I've fucked up in the past where I've tried quitting, and then you buy a pack of cigarettes, and then you smoke one or two and you throw the rest away, right? I've done that. You basically waste $10 plus, right? Where you just burn a $10 bill. But there's power in that, there's power in recognizing you made a mistake, and you don't have to be bound by your mistakes. Every minute of the day is an opportunity to make a better decision and to potentially change the course of your life. For better or worse, by the way. It goes both directions. Every second is an opportunity to make a decision that can send you in one of two directions. Which is why it's so important to be a virtuous person who makes the right decisions, right? Because you could potentially make a bad decision that you can't come back from, and you could potentially make a good decision that just cascades throughout your life and, sets you up for a good life. It can go either way, and that's scary. That's a scary thought that like every moment of life is this kind of razor's edge gambit. Did I use that word correctly? What's a gambit? What's a gambit? I know he's an X-Men character, but isn't a device, action, or opening remark, typically one entailing a degree of risk that is calculated to gain an advantage. In chess, an opening in which a player makes a sacrifice, typically a pawn, for the sake of some compensating advantage. Okay, so it's a risky action that entails some kind of calculated risk to gain an advantage. All right, I don't know if I used that word correctly, but whatever. Anyway, thank you for watching this. We made it to day 10. You guys. We'll see how far I end up going. We'll see how this turns out. I'll see you guys next week. I'm not uploading another video for like, bro, my head looks so weird with this haircut. Dude, I look like such a weirdo. It's really important not to have the camera on my screen, because then I just look at it and it completely fucks up the flow. So, yeah. That's it. This is it. This is over. We made it to day 10. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to make a video for a while. What's today? Tuesday? Probably a week. I need to take a break from these. I'll probably keep streaming, but I might stream less than I have been. I've been streaming a lot. That's been draining me as well. So, yeah. Thanks for watching, you guys. I appreciate everybody giving me positive comments. I appreciate the Doubting Thomases. I've used you fuckers because I've thought about it, and then I'll read a comment by someone saying, oh, he's going to relapse, or, it's only a matter of time. And just to prove those motherfuckers wrong, that brings me back from the brink. So thanks to the haters, too. I love you guys. I really do. The haters specifically. But thanks to all the positive well-wishers, you guys too. You guys have helped too, I guess. Not as much as the haters, though. But yeah, anyway, thank you for watching, you guys. I appreciate it. We'll see you on the next one.